Okay, so lead generation, or how to generate leads. So let me back up a little bit to recap and clarify with a couple of definitions. A prospect is someone that you feel is qualified to be your customer. You've gone out and found them and determined that they are indeed someone that is most likely to buy from you. A lead, on the other hand, is essentially someone that you have some information on. Maybe they came by looking for some information, or they were referred to you by a previous customer. Or maybe they're part of one of the demographics you're targeting, but you don't necessarily have a ton of information on. They may or may not be qualified to be a prospect. So a lead converts into a prospect once they are qualified, either by you or themselves. And that can mean that you either qualify them or disqualify them based on whether you think they'd be a good fit or how willing you think they are to buy. So now let me make a quick note. Just because someone doesn't fit your ideal target market isn't a reason to disqualify them. You'll get some customers that aren't your target market yet are willing and able to buy. So don't necessarily run them away just because they don't fit the precise definition of who your target is. So now that we know that qualified leads are prospects, then we must know how to get leads, and that's called lead generation. And lead generation is the lifeblood of your marketing. So there are essentially two basic types of getting leads: broadcast and direct. Broadcast is one of the most traditional ways of generating leads. It's what you do when you take out an ad in a newspaper or a radio spot or TV, put up a roadside billboard, or even go to a trade show. It's essentially targeting anyone whoever just so happens to get your message. You may get leads from this or you may not. The other basic type of lead generation is direct lead generation. And within that, there are two basic types of direct lead generation: cold and warm. Cold lead generation is your typical door-to-door sales, telemarketing, canvassing, blind direct mail, and all that stuff. Typically, these are based on a geographic location, such as a zip code or a neighborhood, all the way up to an entire city or state, or even a nation. It all depends on the size of the business and the product and the campaign. But cold lead generation is a type of hit or miss style of lead generation, and the results are usually rather small as opposed to a more targeted approach. Now, that doesn't mean it isn't a good way to go. It just all depends on the business and the business's goals. Sometimes it's just about creating awareness. But the type of lead generation you need to understand is warm lead generation, and that's how you generate warm leads. Leads that are interested in your product, and they're well targeted, and they're the most likely to convert into a prospect.